We've also got to get to some other breaking news. It's a busy Tuesday, gang. Big flags all around on the economy. We've just learned in the last couple of minutes that the fate of the president's trade war will officially be in the hands of the Supreme Court. They have just agreed to hear two cases. They've fast-tracked two cases on his tariffs set for the beginning of November, essentially, 2 months from now. It comes as some new numbers show a bunch of people waving more red flags about the job market after we learned that the Department of Labor made this huge revision to the number of jobs created in the last year. Take a look. Between April of last year, March of this year, 900,000 fewer jobs than the Bureau of Labor Statistics had thought. Christine Romans is all over all of it for us tonight. And Christine, almost from the jump, these tariffs from the president face legal challenges. Now it's going to be up to the highest court in the land, the court with several Trump-nominated justices, to decide the legality. In the interim, though, no changes, right? It's not like there's an immediate tariff policy going into place.
That's right. The government will continue to collect those tariffs. But let's remember who brought this case in the beginning. It was small businesses and a bunch of states, and they've consolidated some of these cases so they'll all go to the Supreme Court together. And I'll tell you, Hallie, that law firms in Washington, D.C. are working hard to figure out how they can get rebates on those tariffs paid if this doesn't go in the administration's way. So for now, these companies continue to pay these tariffs on the goods that they're importing, but they hope that they will get relief at the Supreme Court. TBD, an early November is when we'll know for sure.
How about these jobs number revisions, Christine? Because this is kind of a big one here, right? Wall Street kind of shrugging it off. The markets closed in the green just a little bit ago. You see the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ all up. That's even with some big-time economic names today warning of a potential weakening in the economy. Here's Jamie Dimon.
The economy's weakening. You know, whether that is on the way to recession or just weakening, I don't know. And that just confirms what we already thought, kind of.
What warning bells should people be listening to, if any, here?
Yeah, well, what Wall Street is reflecting with those green arrows is the expectation the Fed will cut interest rates. They want lower rates because that means that they can borrow money more cheaply and they can grow their businesses more cheaply. So that's what's happening on Wall Street. On Main Street, the concern is that there's less hiring. There's not a lot of firing, but that you've got a cooler than expected labor market. That 911,000 number, that was big. But I will say, look, we have a situation where every year these numbers are revised because those monthly numbers are estimates, and these are the numbers that come out when you start to see more data, like think tax receipts and more data from census. And so instead of just a survey that a company may or may not answer to the BLS, you've got a little more data there. By the way, I should say what the White House is saying about these revisions and how they're using it to validate, frankly, the fact that that the Fed chief or that the president fired the BLS commissioner 5 weeks ago. Much like the BLS has failed the American people, so has Jerome Too Late Powell, who has officially run out of excuses and must cut the rates now. So the Fed chief has to balance, right? It's got to balance inflation spiking or job market weakening. The sense now is that the concern is about job market weakening and that the Fed will be more inclined to cut rates next month.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.